I've said that 100 times. We have no plans of fighting against Europe. But if Europe wants to fight and if they start this fight, then we are ready right now. There is no doubt about this. But the only question is, if Europe starts the war, unleashes this war, because that's not Ukraine.
The UK faces a growing and increasingly serious security challenge from Russia, and the country must prepare for the possibility of direct conflict, according to the head of the UK's armed forces. In unusually stark remarks, Chief of Defense Staff Air Chief Marshal Sir Richard Knighton warned that Russia's expanding and battle-hardened military poses a threat that cannot be ignored, urging British society to confront uncomfortable realities about national defense. Speaking about the evolving security environment, Sir Richard said Russia's armed forces have been fundamentally transformed after nearly 4 years of full-scale war in Ukraine. He stressed that while the UK's military, alongside NATO allies, would remain the first line of defense, deterrence alone is no longer sufficient. I will focus relentlessly on our readiness, our people, and our transformation to get the most out of what we've got and stay ahead of the threat. But our security cannot be outsourced only to the armed forces. We deter by being strong as a nation. That requires a whole-of-society response. The whole of Britain must step up. Instead, he called for what he described as a whole-of-nation approach, involving government, industry, and civilians alike to rebuild resilience and prepare for a range of real-world threats. We need to be honest with families and households about what preparedness actually means, he said. The situation is more dangerous than I have known during my career, and the price of peace is rising. Our response needs to go beyond simply strengthening our armed forces. It needs a whole-of-nation response. Echoing comments made recently by France's senior military leadership, Sir Richard agreed that European nations must accept the possibility of significant human sacrifice in any future conflict. He said, "The situation is more dangerous than at any point in my career," adding that the cost of maintaining peace is steadily rising. He argued that national security must extend beyond troop numbers to include defense manufacturing, skills development, institutional readiness, and the protection of critical infrastructure. Sons and daughters, colleagues, and veterans will all have a role to build, to serve, and if necessary, to fight, he said. Deterrence is also about our resilience as a nation to these threats. It's about how we make ourselves a harder target and harness all our national power, from universities to energy infrastructure and manufacturing industry to the NHS. It's about our defense and resilience being a higher national priority for all of us, an all-in mentality. Sir Richard noted that decades of relative peace following the Cold War have distanced much of the British public from military realities. The UK last carried out national service call-ups 65 years ago, and it has been 80 years since the end of World War II. However, he suggested that the sense of collective defense once ingrained in society may need to return. While defense analysts currently assess the probability of a direct Russian attack on the UK as low, estimated at under 5%, Sir Richard warned that low risk does not mean no risk. What matters most, he said, is the trend, and the evidence clearly shows the threat from Russia is worsening. Highlighting Russia's military capacity, Sir Richard said Moscow's armed forces now exceed 1.1 million personnel and are consuming more than 7% of Russia's GDP, accounting for roughly 40% of state spending. He contrasted this with the UK's army strength of just over 70,000 troops and defense spending set to rise to 2.5% of GDP by 2027. He also warned that Russia is developing destabilizing weapons systems, including nuclear-powered cruise missiles and nuclear-armed underwater weapons, calling Russian hard power something to fear. Concerns about Britain's readiness were echoed by Ukrainian Major Viktor Andrusev, a former presidential advisor, who warned that the UK risks paying a higher price if conflict spreads to Europe. Speaking to British media, Andrusev said Western militaries remain trapped in outdated thinking and unprepared for modern warfare dominated by drones, mass mobilization, and rapid innovation. War is closer than we think, he said, urging the UK to learn from Ukraine's experience and act before it is too late.
The biggest problem is that people are not going to believe that this can happen. I am sure the UK are not prepared. It does not mean that you would lose for sure, but if you're not prepared, you will pay a higher price.
NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte and UK Armed Forces Minister Al Carnes have also cautioned that the shadow of war is already hanging over Europe, with countries such as Poland and Germany sharply increasing defense spending and revisiting national service models. Pressure is mounting on Britain to rearm, rethink its assumptions, and prepare its population for a far more dangerous future.
Russia continues to test our deterrence. Russia has violated our airspace with jets and drones, conducted sabotage and sent spy ships into our waters. These actions are reckless and they are dangerous. And it's not Russia alone. It is working closely with China, North Korea and Iran to attempt to disrupt our societies and tear up the global rules. They are preparing for long-term confrontation. And we are responding with strength, unity and resolve. Russian missiles keep causing death and destruction. And winter is here. Ukraine needs our support more than ever. We all want the bloodshed to stop, and I strongly welcome President Trump's continued efforts to end this war. Meanwhile, we must accelerate our contributions to Pearl to get urgently needed equipment to Ukraine so that it can defend itself today and prevent aggression in the future.
Times of India videos, your daily dose of India and the world. Global news, different views, and sharp analysis.
Pressure of expectation from your fans, your supporters.
That has often served as a backdrop for several Bollywood.
You're not a brute majority anymore. If you individually take out Tera.
Making sense of global conflicts. Tracking the new emerging world order.
Strike on Israeli military bases.
A multi-pronged.
To stay out of harm's way as Israel started bombing targets across.
Understanding changing alliances in a polarized world. Tune into TOI videos for all this and more. Click on the bell icon to subscribe and never miss an update.